Hello, this is a remediation video for our Unit 2 test. I'm just going to go over a few of the most missed questions for you, and then you should have second attempts available. As a reminder, if you had that 75% or above, you're just missing a few questions, we can remediate through email. You can just send that request. If you missed more than that, you will want to do your second attempt. But you're always welcome to try that second attempt to improve your score, whether you whether you want a 99 or 100, or if you're trying to just change your C to a A. So one of our most missed questions came from part B of question 2. So I put part A up there so we know what's going on. This was from the passage Bulgogi, and Part A is asking about the central idea, and most of us got Part A right, but then selected something different for Part B. So what is the central idea in the story of Bulgogi about the children of immigrants? It's that they are pulled between the traditions of their parents' culture and the changes required by a new culture. And which detail from the story supports the answer? A is going to be your best answer because that is showing the fact that Jun has experienced this culture change. Her mother forced some of the Korean culture on her when they moved to America. She made her take violin lessons, learn Korean, and so forth. But she wasn't going to force her son to do that. So A is our best answer because we're seeing that there's this pull in her heart that she can't, and it's not just this piece of evidence, but also thinking about the rest of the text, that she's not sure if it's the right decision, that she's letting him kind of make his own choices as to how he wants to be immersed in a new culture or keep with tradition. If you selected B, that's focusing on the fact that her mom was forcing her into continue with tradition. There was no pooling between the two. C is the other side of things. That's more so her focusing on acclimating to American culture with softball and law firm, playing for the firm's recreational team. I think the most commonly incorrect answer was D, and I understand where some of you were arguing that Jisuk was honoring her mother by opening that food truck and cooking Korean delicacies. We don't have this pool necessary between that because at that point she's made the decision. She is honoring both the cultures, but there's not not sure if I'm doing the right thing moment. So A is our best answer there. And then we had question 6, which dealt with that passage about the nursing home. And really here it was just about getting which 3 were right. Some of us got partial credit, some of us got all of it, or maybe missed just one. So this is asking to determine which statements develop the theme that sometimes people are not always what they appear to be. So if we're looking at appearance and their behavior always, a lot of us selected A, and I can see where you're coming from. Erkan brightens into a smile when Michelle enters his room. And the only thing there is that is his true nature when he's around her. She makes him feel a certain way. He trusts her. So there's not really a fluctuation with how he behaves with, Michelle in that sense. It's more of a genuine reaction to her. Okay. B, Michelle wearing that football jersey and jeans to an internship. We just have to infer that, if you're taking a job seriously, that you would be prepared and wear what's appropriate. So her not wearing something appropriate would lead us to believe, maybe she's not respectful or maybe she's not taking it seriously, which is not the case. And we learn that through the story. The third one, Erkan is out of control and kicks and rants at the nursing staff. And that's our initial impression of him and how he's behaving. But as the course of the story goes on, we realize that is not all that he is made up of. Okay, so you have to consider, the big picture and the other elements in the story too. And then that fourth one doesn't show anything about people not always appearing, or not always what they appear to be, because it's just a location, where he had immigrated and grew up. And then the last one, Michelle is a young high school girl and feels that everyone mistrusts her due to her youth. There is obviously this concept of just because she's younger and inexperienced that, she may not be trusted to do her job. So again, that perception, she's not necessarily fitting that category, right? And then 13 had to do with the third passage, which is focusing on the price fluctuation. It's talking about hoses and that Germany's and how they produce their hoses is a little bit different. You're buying each part of the hose versus the whole contraption. But this is asking which sentence from the passage develops the central idea that prices vary over time as well as from place to place. And two correct answers for this one are the first one, we really had to hone in on what the question was asking, over time and place to place. So with the first one, we have as more people gain internet access, that's showing over time, and then other countries would be the place to place. The second one, even with different tax costs, however, sometimes the difference in price between two places is hard to explain. Again, it's only addressing the place to place. The third one, if you go to a store in the US and you buy a garden hose, the price will vary, but the parts will probably come attached. And that one is more specific to just the US. I mean, you could argue that it's in different places of the US, but there's nothing about varying from time to time. And then the fourth one, in the US, states need to make money to help pay for the services they provide. It doesn't really apply to either demonstrating that they vary over time or from place to place. And then the last one is your second correct response. Slowly but surely, showing time, the demand for cheaper garden hoses is spreading throughout Germany, and the phrase getting hosed no longer has two meanings. So showing time and also place to place throughout Germany. Okay, so those were the most missed questions. Those of you that are planning to retake, maybe pay attention to those and how you answer them. And as always, if you have questions, just reach out.